Now it's time to create our first job. But there are two types of jobs in Jenkins. New item. So you have a freestyle and pipeline. Two types. Of course, there are more variations. That's okay. But fundamentally, multi-configuration, multi-branch organization. But fundamentally, you have freestyle project and pipeline project. Okay. So now what is the difference between freestyle and pipeline? So which project we are going to begin with? So we will begin with freestyle, then we will go for the pipeline. Pipeline is a bit advanced. Once you explore a freestyle and once you explore all the features of Jenkins using freestyle, then we can directly go for the pipeline building. So what is freestyle? Jenkins freestyle projects allow users to automate simple jobs. This is the main purpose. First thing is to automate the simple jobs and to experiment Jenkins, to understand Jenkins, to know the Jenkins, to get the know-hows of the Jenkins. We use freestyle. So some examples of simple jobs to automate are running tests, creating and packaging applications. That basically this creating and packaging application. So we are going to do that exercises. That's our first exercise in Jenkins. That's our first tutorial in Jenkins using freestyle job. Then producing reports, executing some simple commands. So these are some of the best examples and simple examples for the freestyle jobs. Freestyle projects are repeatable and contain both build steps and post build actions. I'm going to show you that now. So now let me click on first. I'll just give some name, random name, first job, and I'll click freestyle project and I'll say okay. Yeah, this is how your freestyle project architecture looks like. Description you should give here. Then source code management, from where you want to get the source code to build your project, that you have to give. I'll go with the Git because I have installed the Git plugin, so that's the reason. Then build triggers. If you want to have a build triggers, you can use this. Trigger builds remotely from scripts or poll SCM and GitHub hooks. There are different others. And build after other projects are built. We will do all those things in mega project. Then build the environment. Which tool you would like to use. Delete workspace before build starts. Use secret text. Add timestamps to console. Inspect build log for published. And terminate a build if it is stuck. So then here you will find the build steps. So in spite of going with the environment, we don't need at this moment. We'll go for the build step, and here whatever is better for you, you can use that. And Gradle, shell or batch command, runtime timeout, GitHub commit, maven, whichever you want, you can go. And finally, you will have a post build actions. Post build actions. So here you can give aggregate the best example for the email notification. So once it's been built, you just notify me with email. So and set GitHub commit status. So these are post build actions. Once the job has been built, so then you do these activities, you do these actions. Those are called post build actions. This is what our freestyle job looks like. It's all manual, and you can give description, then source code management, and you can attach build triggers so that the job can be triggered automatically from some commits from GitHub, or maybe based on the time periodically. So that's how you do, and you can attach the build steps, and finally you can attach bold post build actions. That's how a freestyle job works. Let me delete this, it's not required. Let me click on disable project, there is nothing. Yeah, so and then refresh it, and let me get back to the dashboard. Okay, then this is about a freestyle project, and our first exercise is going to be on freestyle job. Then let's look into the pipeline. Pipelines are Jenkins jobs enabled by the pipeline. Before it used to call as workflow. So for that you will have a pipeline plugin and built with simple text scripts that use a pipeline DSL, domain specific language, based on the Groovy programming language. Let me show that. Basically, to build a pipeline, you require to install a pipeline plugin. So let me get into the manage plugins, click on available plugins and say pipeline. Yeah, here it is, pipeline deprecated Groovy libraries. You can see that the pipeline plugin. So if you want to build a Docker, so then you have to install Docker pipeline plugin. Okay. And here pipeline SCM API for Blue Ocean. Those are plenty of plugins. Okay, specifically to build a pipeline. So let's get back to the dashboard, and I'll create a first pipeline. I'd say first job pipeline. So now to get into the pipeline, so you see that basically a pipeline orchestrates long-running activities that can span multiple build agents, suitable for building pipelines, formerly known as workflows, and organizing complex activities that do not easily fit in freestyle job type. So the first thing is, a pipeline is an actual complete automation without manual intervention. Of course, you can do the freestyle job also without manual intervention, but here in freestyle, at least you have to give some inputs. Okay, but here you write everything as a script called as a Groovy script, and then you give it to the system, you give it to the Jenkins, and you set up the hooks or GitHub poll SCM. Then automatically when you commit something, the pipeline will be built using the script. So that's the reason the pipeline is can handle much more complex activities. So let me click on pipeline and say OK, and you see this is how it comes. You can give description, and after that here you can find out so some information. You can check out GitHub project. This, if you want to parameterize this project, we will see what is parameterizing project and all those things, but for now you just go through the various sections of pipeline build. So build triggers, as we have in freestyle, similarly we have here poll SCM trigger, build remotely, GitHub hook trigger for git SCM polling, and build periodically, build after other projects are built. So that kind of examples. and here you will have advanced options. And finally here you have to paste your Groovy script. Your Groovy script should be pasted here, or you can simply type stage and 10 and stage 2 step 1 and step 2. So you can simply type it in this way, and that's what is our uh, Groovy script. Or else there is one more way, is to bring it up your file from GitHub or some other source code manager. So but for that you have to mention the file name as Jenkins file with capital J. So let me look into this pipeline syntax. If you want to learn more, you can learn it from here itself. You can find pipeline syntax. You can see the global variables and how to reference them, everything we can check it out. And declarative directive generator and pipeline syntax, everything, it has taken you to documentation altogether. Let me get back to the pipeline and let me click on dashboard. Okay, so these are all two. One is Freestyle, the top one, and other one is, this is Freestyle, and other file is pipeline. And this is the difference between a Freestyle and a pipeline. So now it's time to create our first job. For that, let me open. So the first step was done, installing tools in Jenkins and configuring the tools. So now the second step is to create a Freestyle job. So we are gonna fetch source code from the GitHub using git, and once it's fetched, then the pipeline consists of the stage 1. Once it is fetched, then it's gonna execute the build process. Then stage 3, package it. So this is what we are expecting from this job. So let's get into that and let's do that. So here we are not using a pipeline script, we are not using a Jenkins file, we are not using Groovy script, we are building a Freestyle project. So let me get into our Jenkins file. So first let me click on new, the plus item. So I would give Freestyle first Freestyle build using maven. This is the name of the job. So I'll click on Freestyle project and I will say OK. So now it has taken me to the Freestyle project configuration page. So here I will write, this is a Freestyle project, Freestyle job that builds and that fetches source code from the GitHub and builds the Java package or artifact. And I'm not going to touch any of these options. So I'll directly come to the source code management. So let me click here. So now here you can clearly find out it's asking for the repository URL. A repository URL. So here you have to paste a repository URL. So let me go to my, here it is. This is my repository. From here I want to take, you see, okay, where I am. Let me, okay, so it's domain, never mind. Let me, this is an account, Cherry Ram's account that I have created for a Git tutorial. So let me, and here I have that repository. So now let me clone it, HTTP link, and it's a public repository. So for me, it's a pipeline one. So as it is a public repository, I don't need to give credentials. If it is a private repository, then I have to say, I have to give add and click on Jenkins. Then here I have to select either username with password, or you can go with SSH username with private key, that you can set up your either SSH key or GPG key, and you can copy the private key here. So either you can do that, but here in this section, at this moment we are not using a private repository, so that's the reason I don't need to add a credential here. So and so it's been added. So now I'll come down a bit more. Branches, it's master branch. I don't need to add anything more. So branch specifier blank for any. If you want a specific branch, then you have to mention the branch name. Anyhow, I have only one branch, so that's a master branch. So I don't need to do any modification there. So I'll keep it same. A repository browser also auto, I don't touch it. And build triggers, I don't want it. I'm not automating the code fetching, so I'll just leave it like that. Then I'll come to build environment. I'm not touching that also. So build steps is important for us. If you look into the build steps, what you can observe is here you have few options. You have execute, the first one, execute Windows batch command. If you are running Jenkins on a Windows machine, you can execute Windows command. And second one is execute shell. So if you select the shell, it should open an execute shell window. So and here you can enter whatever shell commands that you want, you can paste it. So pwd example, you can paste it and you can execute that command. And after that, what option we have, let me look into that. So after execute shell command, we have invoke ant. If you want to work with ant, you can actually invoke the ant. And after that, invoke Gradle script. Neither ant nor Gradle script, neither these tools we have configured with the Jenkins, so we cannot do anything. If you see the fifth option, this is invoke top level maven targets. This will give you more scope and flexibility to build. So when I select this, it opens a new dialog box. So I can select this Maven version at this point. See, Maven 3 that we have configured. If you remember, in our previous session, we have installed the Maven tool in our server, and then we have taken the, so Maven 3 we have taken for the automatical installation, automatic installation. So the name that we have given there is maven 3. So you select that maven 3 here. Then what is the goal? What do you want to do with the maven? So I will click on maven goals, and here I would say install, just install, nothing much, no spaces, nothing, just say. You can mention the goals, which is the goal is install for us. So install is the one which we are going to use. So I'll type install there, and it has many other options. If you click on advanced, you can refer, you can mention a different XML file, you can mention some properties, and you can mention JVM, Java virtual machine options, and different settings, file settings, and so many configuration changes you can do over here while you are running the build job. If you need to do that, same from a shell command, you can, but it will be a way too complicated. So the point here is, whenever you have the plugin or that feature, use it instead of running the commands. So we will be doing that, and that's all we will be doing here for now. And let's come down, and there are some post build actions that you can see, we will see. And this happens when this job is completed. Okay, if you want to set up anything like email notification, or so you can click on for the email notification here, and you would get you'd get notified through email. So here you have to mention the recipient, send email for every unstable build, or send separate emails to individuals who broke the build. Whenever this happens, you would receive a mail. So anyway, now we are not going with this. Let me close this. So all done, I guess. Let me cross check the changes. Description, git repository, and master branch. Triggers we did not touch. Build steps through maven, and goal is install. Rest all advanced is not required. Let me close this and let me save it. Let me save this. This is our pipeline. So this is our freestyle project. Project first freestyle build maven. Okay, first freestyle build maven project. So now, so what it does, so our job really contains two things. First one is fetch the source code and run mvn install. So once you see this, you will come into the job section over there. So let's build this job now. Let me click, let me go to the dashboard, and you can find different jobs that we have created. And now go to the job, select this specific job, and click on build now. So it started building the job. This is our first job, this is our first freestyle job. You may get little tense, but it's all fine. We're gonna just watch and observe what is going on with this job. You see this left bottommost corner, you can find at this section the job is being built, and the job number, and then job status, and job date and time. And this is the status of the job and what's going on with the job. It's blue and white is rolling around. So the job is being built. It's taking more time, though we have taken uh, T2 medium, but still it's taking more time. It's not that big job, but still it's taking more time. Okay, that's it. That's fine. Let's watch it. Let me make it bigger. 150% is, yeah, now it's clear, right? You can see that here on leftmost and left bordermost option. Yeah, look into that, what's happening there. And if you see that, here you have a press forward slash on your keyboard to focus, just to focus that filter builds. If you want, if you have a huge number of builds, then you can filter your builds through this. Yes, congratulations, your build is successful. You can see that a tick mark with green, and this is the number you first built. But before we jump into the build and see the console, let's scroll a bit up and we'll see uh, what all uh, items that are present in the your job page. This is your job page. Yes, in this job page, first you have a status, then you have changes. You see that no changes in any of builds. Then after that you have workspace. Workspace consists of all the output information that has been generated through your build. So here you will find the artifact that was built from this job that we're going to see. And then here you click it in build now. If you click on configure, it will take you to the configuring your build job. You can change the options of your build, whatever we have done so far. You can change the description, you can add new commands to the maven, you can, that's what you can do a lot. And here to delete the whole project, and here to rename the project. So let's come down and click on here exactly on top of this. If you click on the drop down button, you will get some options, the same options as you see on top, not all but few. You see that here, changes, console, and view as a plain text. So but I'll click on this. So the console has been opened. Here it will give you the information about this job, build number 1 and time and date, and you can find that. So no changes, and started by user this, and from where did it bring, from this directory it has brought. Okay, and revision is this. Now let's get into the console output and we'll look into the log one by one. You see that, of course it's a huge amount of logs are there. Let's scroll it slowly one by one. So what's the first step it has done? Downloading from central. So it's as usual, if you remember whatever we have discussed in maven repository, it's going to the maven repository and it's downloading the dependencies and plugins from there. That's what it's happening here. Okay, you see that by and large same steps. Okay, progress, then same thing is continued. These are all logs which are generated during that job, during that freestyle job. So maven compiler, see that maven compiler plugin 3.1 to compile. Then so here if you see, if you observe this project, we have integrated three tools that we have discussed in three modules. Git, the first part of fifth module, then maven, the second part of fifth module, and Jenkins, the third part of fifth module. So all these tools that we have discussed in different parts of fifth module has been integrated for a single exercise. That is our first freestyle job in Jenkins. Let me come down a bit more, and I will just scroll through this logs that were generated from our first freestyle job. So these are all these are all uh, downloads from the repository that maven apache.maven.org. It's a huge log. You can go through it slowly, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, I think it's surefire now. It's surefire report directory. Yeah, tests has begun now. There are different tests which are mentioned: model test, user test, account. And finally, you will see a build success message. Maven install. Yeah, you see that? A build success message. So let me get back to the project. And now, as you have seen the console output, now let us go to the workspace. Here you see this workspace consists of all the data. You see whatever is there in my inside my directory in GitHub. You see Ansible files, src, Jenkins file, pom.xml, and here it is, Ansible files, src target, and you got the .git because it initialized a git directory, git working directory here. Let me click on this, and you will find branches, hooks, info, logs, objects, refs, head should refer master. Okay, it has downloaded directly, that's fine. So similarly, you have Ansible directory, files directory, target. So target is important for us, and that's where you see the pom.xml. Through from this also we can generate, but we have used just a command because it's a freestyle job. So now you see that inside that you can find your v profile v2.var of, click v profile v2, and you can find all the information. You just go back to target. Let me come here. Let me get back to the, yeah, here you see target directory. In that target directory you will find your package, a Java package, that is vprofile v2.var. This is version 2.var. Okay, so we are gonna build build one more build. For that I'm gonna wipe out this completely. Workspace, we got an option with the workspace to say wipe out current workspace. Let me say okay. So now let me click on configure the same project. I'll keep the same thing, but this time only testing. I'll go with the testing, not the everything. So freestyle and as a test. Rest all remains same. I won't touch anything. I'll just directly come to the maven. Maven is here, so here I would remove this and say test, and click on build now. So I have wiped out the previous. So now the build 2 is begun. So it's done. Build 2 is done. So let me click here. Build 2 is also successful. So let me get into the console output and see. Yes, it started. The initial one, what's the first step? Cloning the remote repository. You see that? Cloning the remote repository. So it has cloned the all the data which is presented inside the remote repository, and then after that git init initialization. Git initialization, you will find that in workspace. You see that var lib jenkins, inside that you have workspace directory, and then inside that you have first freestyle build maven project. Inside that it has initialized that. I will show you that location. Then after that it has pulled complete data. You got that. Then the maven comes into the picture and it started testing model test, user test. It has done it, and then test completed, and finally we could see the build success message. So now let us get back into the uh, console, and here you see workspace. No, not here. You see the workspace here. So let me click on the workspace. You see that git initialization has been done here, and you see that .git, and I'll click on target directory. That's where you would find your test reports. You see surefire test reports. Here you will find your reports: sample test.txt, user collection control test.txt, role test.txt, and user test.txt. If you want, you can just download whichever you want and you can check it. You see that test is done and no problem with it. And user control, click on view. Yeah, this is XML. Fine. So now let me get back to the click on workspace again. Now if you want to download everything all together, just say all files in zip. So here you find that 3.7 MB, it's been downloaded. Or if you just want a target folder to be downloaded, you click on all files in zip. So this time target.zip, only that will be downloaded, and you can find out all the test reports, all the test classes and everything, complete information you can get it. So again, I'll wipe out the current workspace and click OK. Now let me check the workspace. Completely empty. Nothing is there. Okay. So nothing is there in this workspace. So now let me configure the same project. This time I would say validate. Directly come down to the invoke maven, invoke top level maven targets. This time the goal could be validate, and let me say save and click on build now. Scheduled and build now is started. Let me scroll a bit down. Third, it's getting done. It's done. So now let me click on third build. So build number 3 is absolutely successfully run. And now let me check the console output. As usual, cloning the remote git repository, and then finally we'll come to the build success. It's been verified and it's absolutely no issue with the files which are inside that. So and now let me go to the where is that? Click on freestyle maven and click on workspace, and you see that. So as it is just a validation, no target file has been created, but the .git initialization has taken place. Let me wipe out the current workspace again, and then now let's go for configuring the same file, and this time I'll go to the top level. Okay, I'd say package save and build now. So the fourth build you see here, it's running now. It's gonna take more time. because there are a lot of phases should be built. Yeah, finally it's done after 3 seconds. So let me click on this job, fourth job, which is a package phase in maven, that is also successful. So let me click on console output to see. As usual, your GitHub repository has been cloned and testing will be done and a lot of activities will be done, and finally you can see the build success, and here you see your war file has been stored in target directory. So let me get into that workspace now. Let me click on Freestyle build maven and click on workspace. Here it is. You see your .git initialization and then Ansible file shares src, and here you see your target file. You see your target file. You can find out the v profile v2 and click on here, and all the resources you can get it. And let me get back to the workspace again. Click on target, and you see that v profile v2.war. This is our package. This is our artifact. So this is how you can build your packages using freestyle jobs. So you can automate these things very simply. You just mention one command and just say build now. That's it. Rest all will be done by the Jenkins. This is how using a freestyle jobs you can automate a small non-complex tasks. Let me get into the sticky note again, and so all these steps were done.